What's up, y'all? Oh man, I was definitely not paying attention. What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of By Any Means. I'm your host, JRob. First things first, as always, we got a shout out to the folks in the chat. Shout out to Cobra Son of Radish, shout out to Comatose and Clutch, Avion Plumber and Company. If you want to be a part of Players Choice community, y'all already know the vibes. All the information you need is in the description below. Today is a fun day because obviously the college football AP polls came out, and I personally feel like the polls have been relatively disingenuous. Um, I personally feel like these polls have been the way they are just because I do think the committee has certain agendas that they want to be able to push with how the college football playoff pans out. I can't prove a lot of it, but I'm gonna obviously I'm gonna go through the top 25 teams in college sports. We're not gonna have the longest episode today, probably a good 30-40 minute episode. If you want to be a part of this episode, if you're a college football savant, if you are really a fan of college football, listen, if you're one of these NFL guys, if you really don't know college sports guys, let's leave the floor up to somebody who really is into college football. I'll leave a link here. Guys, if you come up, please have a webcam. Please have your webcams and you know the vibes, webcams, mic, surroundings, etiquette, that's important. I got some help. Shout out to my guy Random, is always kicking it with
What's
me.
good? What's good? What's
What's up,
good?
brother? So the goal is to obviously redo the AP poll in my eyes, or in our eyes, the By Any Means eyes. And so we're gonna take a real crack at this. And
Wait,
yeah,
they
yeah.
tied two teams at 19?
As of yeah, well, yeah. Right now they got two teams tied. I don't know how that really actually works, but they go 2-19. This will go from 19 straight to 21.
Mm.
Um, but with that being said, let me pull this up. Let me put this up to add it to the stage. And so with this being the first thing, um, let's start with 25. So on the AP poll, on the big poll, so on the AP poll, 25 is the University of Miami. On the coaches poll, number 25 is Missouri. And honestly, for me personally, Miami is not, after that loss to Georgia Tech,
A
I just wouldn't put
disgusting
them.
loss.
Yeah, that's a disgusting loss. I really don't I don't really want to put any stake into them at the 25 spot. I think there's a lot of teams that notably could go there. I think if you look at an LSU, you might potentially want to put them there. I know Notre Dame is getting some love because they played two good football teams.
Mm-hmm.
Both the teams that they lost to are still undefeated. But for me personally, at the 25 spot, I'm actually, call me biased, call me biased,
Mm-hmm.
but at 25, I'm gonna actually put the Colorado Buffaloes
Really?
because I'm
Okay.
gonna tell you why. Before I get the bias, I'm gonna go like this. So the reason why I'm gonna put the Colorado Buffaloes at 25 is because one thing I look for when I do the polls and when I think about teams is strength of schedule.
Mm-hmm.
The strength of schedule thing to me matters because what's so far we've decided been the toughest schedule in college sports. I think the Pac-12 we've all agreed has been the toughest conference. Now
Mm-hmm.
I know you're gonna say, oh well, what about they were in a dogfight against Arizona State? Well, I'd argue that Arizona State was in a dogfight with a lot of teams. They're in a dogfight with USC.
Oh, I was going to say that.
And let's be real about their losses. The losses that Oregon has taken, they've lost to the number 8 team in the country. They've lost to the number 10 team in the country. So your two losses are from top 10 schools in two top 10 schools, and your first win of the year was against a top 20 opponent. Obviously, now you guys are going against you guys are all going against TCU now, but I remember there was a point where everybody said they were a 20-point favorite and should be one. So I'll put Colorado at 25. Now, according to the AP poll and the coaches poll, 24 is Kentucky and 24 is Kentucky. Some got Kansas, some got Kentucky, depending on where you go. For me, at that 24 spot, believe it or not, you know what I got at that 24 spot?
What you got?
I got Utah. Now Utah right now is ranked 16 in both the coaches. You got some in your background?
Oh, me?
Yeah. You might have like a fan or something.
Yeah, I just turned it off.
So in the back, I would take Utah 24. Now I know this is unpopular, right? This is very unpopular, and I'm going to tell you guys why I got Utah.
Big drop. It's a big drop.
It's a drop from 16 to 24. But I'm going to tell you this. Like I said, obviously strength of schedule to me matters, but also I take into account injuries. Utah has not been without their quarterback, and if anybody has watched a Utah Utes football game, if you look at a Utah Utes football game, I know this is not popular, but Utah has also has not been a great offensive team. They obviously got blown out by Oregon State. And really without Cam Rising, and this team is completely different because they can't effectively move the ball. And so I think the reason why they've survived at 16, in my opinion, it's really been due to the fact that they've gotten the benefit of the doubt for being a dominant team in the Pac-12. So I don't have no hate. I have no hate towards Utah. I just feel like Utah cannot be the 24th team in the country when I know against certain teams they're going to get blown out because they don't have the offense to compete right now. And obviously, I don't know when Cam Rising is expected to come back, but him being missing has really affected this football team, and they don't have the QB room, I think, to sustain or be competitive in the Pac-12.
Real quick, JRob, when did he go out? When did Cam Rising go out?
So he was out going into the year. He hasn't played yet. He's been out going into the year.
What does he have? He's missing. That's half the season's about to go by.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't actually know what the injury is, but he's been out since. So this is where now I got 23. 23 for me is a team that Group of 5 school deserves all the credit in the world. Survived a 17-point deficit to come back and beat Texas Tech. Just went out there and beat Fresno State, who has now lost a home game, and God knows. Probably the best Group of 5 school in the country right now. I want to give them credit because I want to say right now they are the best Group of 5. I think they can beat some of these teams actually in the top 25. Really good football program. I'm going to give me the Wyoming Cowboys at the 23 spot. I'm going to go Wyoming.
For some context, they did receive 42 votes in the coaches poll and 60 votes. My bad. 42 votes in the AP top 25 and 60 votes in the coaches poll.
Yeah, I got to give credit to Wyoming Cowboys. They've been balling out of control. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay, so where are we at right now? We're at 22.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're at 22. Coaches poll, the AP got LSU at the 22 spot, and then the coaches poll has UCLA at the 22 spot. For me, right now, the 22 spot should belong to nobody else, I think, other than the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And if they lose again this year, they probably should be out of the coaches poll for the year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with Notre Dame, with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, because, look, I get it. They lost to Ohio State, but they also lost to Louisville, and I think we might have overrated them. This is not a slight to them. They're a good football program still, but I think we might have overrated them a little bit.
They were kind of dominated against Louisville, by the way.
Yes, they were dominated. Oh, yeah. We're going to get into Louisville because I got them ranked probably a little higher than most people do.
Mm-hmm.
So where are we at? We're at 22. All right, so 21.
Mm-hmm.
21 on both polls is Notre Dame. For me, right now at 21, I'm going to go with the Tennessee Volunteers. No. I'm at I got this right. I know what I'm doing. Okay. Yeah, at 21, I'm going to take the Tennessee Volunteers. I'm not high on Tennessee. I think they'll drop another game this year, but they're still 5-1 in the SEC. And I'm gonna throw them a bone.
Oh, good Lord, JRob, they're screwed. I'm just looking at the rest. They got Alabama, then Kentucky right after that, and then 2 weeks, then Missouri, and then right after that is Georgia.
Right. See, this is the thing. I actually don't have Kentucky ranked. I was wrong about Kentucky. I think the way I personally think, and this is why I say I think the poll manipulates the way we look at the playoffs implications later on. I'm going to tell you why. rewatching Kentucky, because after I watched them get blown out by Georgia, I went and watched some extra Kentucky film, seen some of their games, see who they played. Kentucky's not as good as a team as I may have thought. I love the running back and Ray Davis. But I think they were ranked really for Georgia's ego. And what I mean by that, random, is that's the best win on Georgia's schedule right now. So for me, you know what I'm trying to say? If you look at Georgia's schedule, their best win right now is against the ranked Kentucky, who really should not be ranked. I don't think them or Miami will go on my poll personally. Miami's debacle against Georgia Tech is all I needed to see. There's no excusing that. They're going to lose to Florida State. That's just from an operations point. So I'm not high on them. And Kentucky, I think Kentucky was ranked for the sake of Georgia, in my opinion. That people might not be able to get behind that, but I want to 100% feel that way. So where are we at now? 20. So 20.
Your point about them being ranked for Georgia's ego, it sounds crazy, but it's by far the best win on their schedule.
By far,
in my opinion, by far.
Easily. Now,
oh my God.
This is the second 2-loss team to come up here, and I'm going to put at 20. Just because this team has some games left where this 2-loss team can still make it into that. They're still in control of their destiny. They only have one loss in the SEC. And realistically, they're a 2-loss team that can still win an SEC championship. So I'm going to give the LSU Tigers the 20 spot. I think Jaden Daniels is still balling. I wish he would not take some of the hits he takes. But Jaden Daniels is looking like an NFL prospect, potentially a first-round pick, depending on who you ask. So I'm going to go with at 20, I'm going to go rock out with the LSU Tigers. 19. So 19, we can go in a lot of places. You know what I'm saying? I think you can go UCLA. I think you can go Washington State. But for me, as of right now, at 19, I'm going to go Wazoo, Washington State.
They really penalized them for that loss to UCLA. They dropped 6 spots in the poll.
Which is not fair. I don't think was fair at all, actually, because I think they need to give more credit to that Oregon State win that they have. But random, doesn't this prove our point even further that the Pac-12 is the toughest division? Because go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just looking at Washington State's schedule. And I mean, Oregon State, looking at Oregon State went back and forth, barely beat Oregon State, barely lose by basically a touchdown to Utah. And then you still got Oregon on their schedule.
Right.
The way you're talking about Colorado, that should be a great game. Then you finish up with UW. I think they really punished them for that loss to Colorado. I'd understand if they lost by 10 or 12.
Right.
But that's a big punishment for a loss like that, especially knowing how good that conference is.
Yeah, I think it's very unfair because I don't think you would punish a team that lost like this in the SEC.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Or even the Big Ten for that matter. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's clear as day that right now this conference is the best conference in football in terms of just competitiveness. So here we go. This is my next team. Okay, so this is where it gets weird because UCLA is ranked at 18 on some polls, but actually I think the 18th best team in the country right now from what I've seen, I'm actually going to put the Duke Blue Devils at 18.
Like what they've been doing they are 18 on the coaches poll.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Duke is 18 on the coaches poll.
Yeah, so I'll put Duke at 18. I'll 100% put Duke at 18. Obviously, I think everybody loves what they're doing. I think Duke, North Carolina, UCLA, and Kentucky all being ranked and Kansas is actually crazy. So now this is where people probably won't agree with me. My 17th team in the country was not UCLA. This is Kansas for me. This is where Kansas goes because, look, I think Kansas will never get ranked too high because of really just due to it's Kansas. You know what I'm saying? But the reason why I'm taking Kansas at 17, I think they can compete with every team below them, honestly, in a shootout, because I think they can score with a lot of these teams. And also I think the conference they're in is tough this year with Oklahoma, Kansas State, and Texas being in it. I love what Kansas has done with their resurgence. I think the AP is not high on them because of the fact that it's Kansas. But if I look at these teams, if you're going to rank a Kentucky and a Miami and then put in like a Tennessee, who I'm going to be honest, if Kansas and I know people may not agree with this, but if Kansas and Tennessee played, there's nothing really to tell me or give me enough confidence that Tennessee is blowing them out. To me, there's also nothing that tells me that that Notre Dame or Washington State will blow them out. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. The only thing is Jalen Daniels is out. He's still out with a back issue. So I would agree with you if he was healthy, but he's out and he missed the last game, but they handled UCF. So
the reason is I think their backup is serviceable to keep a minute. I think that's the difference between them and I think some and a school like Utah. Utah's backup, we've seen Utah. They couldn't throw a out route with no pressure. You know what I'm saying?
That's a basic throw you throw in high school. What are we talking about?
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you can't complete routine plays, at least I know with Kansas, their backup, he can win them a football game. He can win them a football game. So I feel you about Daniels for sure. But I'm really just saying I think the quarterback. Really, my point is because I know some people are like, well, if you're gonna, how could you say that, but not give the credit to what's the one I'm talking about? Utah.
Cam, right? Utah.
But it's because the quarterback room is worse. You know what I'm saying? The quarterback room to me is worse.
Well, Jersey Love, I'll say this real quick for you. I think it was clear that Texas was the better team than Kansas when they played, and it clearly 100%. Showed on the score. It clearly showed on the score. Like
100%.
What they're doing in Texas, what they're doing in Kansas is we're not talking. This isn't getting fixed in 2 years. We're talking you're fighting a culture. You're changing.
This has been like a 20-year change. Yeah,
man. And I know that probably if the Kansas coach has another successful season, he's probably gone. Yeah. Another bigger program's going to offer him money, even though I wish he would stay. Because I'm telling you, changing Texas for the better is, especially given their recent history. You're talking like it's kind of like a career setter or a career defining moment. If you were able to just stay at Kansas and make it good and make it even to the point you're contending, especially now with Oklahoma and Texas leaving the Big 12. Like I think you should stay.
The coaches at Kansas will get offered every job in the country because of just what they've turned around in that program. I mean, I think Kansas was the most losingest program in FBS, or one of, if not one of.
Yeah, let me check real quick.
Yeah, Andrew Coleman. How is Miami still ranked is beyond me. I don't know either. We're not on the JRob poll, on the By Any Means poll. They're not even ranked on here. We're not even giving them no love. All right, so 16. What is AP? AP got at 16. Utah, obviously Utah's already ranked.
Yeah, they're ranked on both the AP and the coaches poll. Utah is at 16.
Right, Utah is ranked at 16. So for me, right here, this is where it could get tricky. It could get tricky, but I'm not gonna overthink this one. Actually, I'm actually not gonna overthink this one. I'm going to put in, believe it or not, I'm gonna just write the name. You're gonna be like, what the fudge?
Now I'm curious. What?
The USC Trojans, man.
Hold on real quick. Let me try and understand your reasoning here. Okay. Look, you get in a dogfight with Arizona State, where that running back at one point was like, I'm just gonna beat y'all by myself. Then you get in that. Okay.
Dogfight with Colorado.
Dogfight Colorado, where we talked about it, JRob. I thought Colorado could have won that game with better clock management.
Or if they put in that freshman at receiver in the first quarter.
Then it is unacceptable for USC, a top 5 team, to be in overtime with Arizona. 3
overtimes.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable. Listen, I know people are like, what? They're undefeated. I get it. Now, let me just say like I said, let me give you my criteria. I look at strength of schedule, who you've played, who you've beat. I look at, like I said, I look at injury history. I look at all of these things. USC's defense is god awful. God awful. It's not great. And listen, if they didn't have the best quarterback since Luck, since Newton, since Manning in the draft, going out into this year's draft, I can't look at this team and be like, this is the contender. I just don't see it.
For those of you who don't,
But LSU's defense is way worse, but that's why they're 20. But
Tank
USC
Jones
is not a top 15 team right now. There's no way you can look at USC and say this is the top 10, the top 15 team. In my opinion, right now, the defense is so bad that if I look at if they get into a shootout with the wrong team, the reason why USC I can't put them as a top 15 team. So I think every 15 team and up can either, I don't want to say get a stop, but can be in a close game. USC to me right now is at a point where if they get in a situation where they have the ball last, if they have the ball last, or if they don't get the ball last, they'll probably lose.
So Tank Jones will let you know, ever since the Colorado game, they have dropped, even though they've won every single coach's poll. And for those of you before the Arizona game, the USC defense is ranked 98th in the country. And this is from NCAA themselves. We went right on the NCAA website and we looked it up. They were ranked 98th in the country.
And I know this is not a popular opinion. I got to understand. This is my criteria. I don't have me and Random do not have any college playoff votes, even though I bet you me and both wish we did. But we don't have college playoff votes. So this is just, we're looking at it from a whole different perspective.
They'd kick us out the minute you put USC at 16, though.
Oh, yeah. Because it's not good for business. They'd be like, that's not good for business. They're like, you don't care about business. I'm like, I care about purity, okay? I'm a purist about this sport. All right, 15, this is Oregon State. Now, I know Oregon State has one loss, the one loss to Washington State. I really think Oregon State is better than Washington State. I really do. I think they caught them sleeping. I think Pullman is one of the hardest places to play in the Pac-12. And I think Oregon State just got caught lacking. I think if they play them again, it'll be a different conversation. I think Oregon State has one of the best run games in the country. Their defense is not as bad as – it's not that bad. I think DJ Uiagalelei is playing some of the best football of his career. And I think the way they use him in the run game and in the pass game, Oregon State is going to surprise some people. I cannot wait to see them play Oregon this year, because if Oregon loses to Washington, I think the other game that they can mess up and drop is the Oregon State game. I think Oregon State will be the next game they could potentially drop, because this team can run the hell out of the football. They got some great wide receivers. And I really love what DJU has been doing. And honestly, I know everybody loves Bo Nix, but I think Bo Nix and DJU are in the same realm. And I know that's unpopular, but I don't kind of see the same guy that y'all see out of Bo Nix. So this is just my opinion. This is just my opinion, y'all.
Yeah, quick question. Do you think DJ stays another year? He is a junior.
One more. Stay one more.
Okay.
Because I look at it like this, right? Look at it like this, Random. Stay one more year. Unless you graduate. If he graduates this year, then he can obviously freely grad transfer to an SEC or one of these two mega conferences between the Big 12, the Big 10, and the SEC now. But I would stay. Do you know why I would stay? Because the Pac-12 is probably going to absorb the Mountain West Conference. So next year, Oregon State can win the Pac-12, and that'll be great for his resume. You know what I'm saying? I think that'll be great for his resume, great for his draft stock. And really, honestly, what they've done with him in Corvallis completely rewrote the thought process on what this kid could be, I think. You know what I'm saying? Because they put him in a situation where they're really utilizing his capabilities. So I like Oregon State at 15. I like what they're doing. I'm actually really impressed with them. And I know the Washington State loss is salty, but I really firmly believe if they played again in Corvallis or at a neutral site, I give a good shot. I give a good edge to Oregon State. Now, this is where people may not like what I have here, but here we go. So first, I'm going to go Ole Miss.
Okay.
Ole Miss at 14. I like Jackson Dart. Lane Kiffin and them are playing some great offense. So I'm going to take Ole Miss at 14. And then this is where it gets weird, because Ole Miss is a one-loss team. They're a one-loss team. Then right after them, I'd go UNC at 13. And then above UNC, I'm going Louisville.
Okay. I was wondering where you were going to put Louisville on the.
Right now, I got Louisville as the 12th best team in the country. I got them as the 12th best team in the nation right now, just because, I think the way they dominated Notre Dame, it made me have to like really reevaluate this team because obviously I think this was their biggest test so far. Don't get me wrong, but to be 6-0, they jump up 11 spots in the coaches in the AP. They're 14, so I got them two higher. I think I saw the Georgia Tech game. They beat Georgia Tech 39-34. But with the information we know now about Georgia Tech, they're hard out. They're not a team that you could just roll over. Then obviously you beat Indiana. You beat Boston College 56-28. They beat North Carolina, who's always going to give you
in a dogfight.
Yeah, always going to be a dogfight. They're one of the better teams in the ACC. They're always going to be competing for a title in the ACC. And then you beat Notre Dame 33-20. And honestly, I think most people would say Sam Hartman is the best quarterback in the conference outside of Drake May.
What about I always forget the Florida State. I always want to call him Jordan Davis.
Travis, yeah. Jordan Travis. So yeah, Travis. I forgot about him. Thank you for reminding me. Actually,
I guess you can say that because he's still health-wise, he's compromised.
Right. But this is my thing. I look at their schedule. Right, this is their schedule the rest of the way, bro. Louisville. I think their hardest game was Notre Dame. This is the rest of their schedule though. At Pitt, I think they win that game. I think we both agree they win that game. Then they got to play Riley Leonard and Duke at home. I think I'll flip a coin on that one, but I think I'm gonna give that edge to Louisville because I think Louisville plays better defense. Virginia Tech and Virginia are garbage schools.
Damn, they're gonna run the state of Virginia for real?
They're gonna run the state of Virginia easily. I mean, the best team in Virginia is not even either school. It's James Madison. It is. James Madison will beat both of them. James Madison will 100% beat both of them. They are running Virginia right now.
Okay.
Then you play Miami at Miami November 18th, and then you play Kentucky. I think they're better than Kentucky. That's your rival. You're playing at home. You play them at home. And so then you look at Miami at Miami. I think that's their toughest game, but I think they could pull this out. There's a good chance that Louisville can be going into the ACC championship undefeated. It's a good possibility.
Who do you think they play? Florida State?
Florida State. They'll be playing Florida State. Now, do I still think Florida State will beat them? 150%. But they'll be undefeated. If they're undefeated, one-loss team, there's going to be a different conversation. There's going to be some conversations that need to be had about these playoffs. Just saying.
So, question.
Their strength of schedule won't help. Their strength of schedule won't help them, though. Go ahead, Randy.
Okay. So, question. So, at the end of the season, for looking at Louisville, do you believe by the time they get to that part of the schedule, Miami or Kentucky will still be ranked?
Let me look at Miami's schedule real quick. Kentucky, no, I don't. Actually, I definitely don't think Kentucky will. I think you had said their schedule, right?
Yeah, I can pull up for you if you need it.
Actually, bro, when they get to Miami, they're not going to be. When they get to Louisville, they ain't going to be ranked because they play North Carolina next week, and then they play Clemson the week after.
Ooh, then never mind.
And then they gotta go Florida State and then Louisville. They have a tough schedule. I don't see that happening. And also, Mario Cristobal's job is going to be under fire because of the way he handles.
They have been cooking him. They've been cooking him.
I mean, could you not though? Could you not? Like, could you not? How could you not? Like, I think sometimes I think in my head is like an owner or GM or AD of a school because I look at like what these coaches be doing, and in my head I just be like the AD, the GMs, and the owners, like, what do they be thinking when they be watching some of these decisions by the guy that they hired? Like, what lies did he tell you?
I see what you're talking about.
You know it'll
be very interesting. He's a guy. How long? Cristobal's been there 2 years, right?
Yeah, he was at Oregon first.
Yeah, so he's been there 2 years. He's had a chance, and it's just like I think the toughest part was, kind of react because I wasn't able to watch that game live. But then you heard a lot of people from Oregon's like he used to do this stuff in Oregon as well, like these kind of boneheaded decisions. Like I don't understand. That situation is something you just practice when you first start practicing. You just do a cube. Like one thing we in high school and college, what we did at the end of every practice, get the victory kneel, get the QB kneel in to end practice. Right. I just understand what was the thought process. I don't know
why you don't go victory formation, take the knee, run the clock out, and then would they get the ball back with a second? You can't.
I needed him to explain that to me for real. Because why would you even do that?
You actually did not have to run the football. They didn't even have a timeout. Like, they can't stop the clock. Like, everything was in your favor. They're cooked, and shout out to Jersey Love for giving them to give them some some hope. But Jersey Love, I think they're cooked. So they got to play North Carolina, Florida State, Louisville. They might even lose to North Carolina State at North Carolina State. So
for Louisville, like you said, the path is there. If they can find a way to obviously go undefeated, they beat Florida State, and like Jersey Love said, they make that TCU type run. That first playoff matchup is key. But looking at who I'm thinking your top 4 will be, I don't think it's going to matter.
Oh, you know where I messed up at real bad though?
What's up?
I forgot a team on here that is supposed to be ranked. Okay, so I'm gonna move everybody up 1. I'm gonna move everybody
Oregon State up.
Yeah, I'm gonna move this all up 1. So I'm gonna get rid of them, move them up 1, move them up. So I'm gonna go Louisville because I forgot a team and I forgot to explain why. So I knew I was forgetting a team. I just couldn't put my head on it. So I'm gonna go Louisville, Louisville. How you sound it? Louisville.
It's like USC, the S doesn't exist.
Yeah, I know. Facts. Yeah, it doesn't. Louisville. USC. Who was here? Who did I miss?
Louisville.
USC. Ole Miss.
Yes. Thank you.
Ole Miss right here, and then at 14. No, because then I'm gotta move Oregon State up 1. So I do think they're better. I do think they're better than this team. I'm gonna move Oregon State up 1. And then at 15, I'm gonna go UCLA actually. That's what I was missing. So UCLA at 15. UCLA plays better defense than USC. Now the quarterback situation is clearly in favor of USC. Caleb is they're literally playing a true freshman, a really good true freshman. Don't get me wrong, this kid is gonna be good, very good. But I think UCLA plays better in the trenches football. I think they're one of the better defensive teams in the Pac-12 last year. I think they're one of the better defensive teams in the Pac-12 this year. I think I even said this to you before that I feel like UCLA is actually going to transition to the Big Ten easier than USC.
Yes, you did.
Because I think they're a better team in the trenches. I think they actually commit to trying to play good defense. So right now, I'd have them over USC because I think they have more things that I would look at as like they could win. I think they could win a closer nail biter than USC can because USC really can't play defense.
All right, quick question about UCLA. Are we not giving Chip Kelly enough attention for the job he's doing there at UCLA?
Probably not giving him enough credit. But I'll never forgive Chip Kelly for what he did to the Eagles back in the day. So
I'm not gonna sit here and argue with you.
Just keep coaching Chip Kelly. Just keep coaching, and you're doing a good job over there at UCLA. Enjoy the sun and the palm trees, my brother. All right, so where are we at right now? We're at the top 10. We've made it to the top 10. This is where things I think get their funnest.
To let you guys know, in the coaches poll, number 10, the AP poll, number 10 is actually USC. And the coaches poll, number 10 is Alabama.
So at number 10, I'm going to go, like the coaches say, Alabama. Look, I'm really just throwing them a bone. I don't even think they're that great offensively. I think they're going to drop another game this year, 100%. I think they're going to end up dropping. But their only loss right now is only to Texas. And I think Texas is actually a better team than most of us thought this year. And so I'm going to put them at 10, give them some love. I'll put them at 10, Alabama.
They have an inspired confidence.
Yeah, they have it. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. They really have it.
Yeah, getting worked by Texas. And then right after that, a dogfight with South Florida.
Right.
I understand the score says 17-3, but if you saw that game, like you were like, what are we watching here?
So this is my biggest difference between the top 10, I think, right here. I got Penn State at 9.
Okay.
I think I don't want to say they're overrated. I think they can be very good, but I need to see them versus the Michigans and the Ohio States because to me, that's the only way for me. Right now, to me, the Big Ten feels real top heavy between Michigan, Penn State, and Ohio State. And I really need them to differentiate themselves. And Penn State has been the known team to look good and then have to play the big dogs and always drop. So I'm going to put them at 9. On the coaches poll, they got them at 6. Yeah, I don't know if they're the 6th best team in the country.
Yeah, to let you know, JRob, on the coaches poll, on the AP poll, they're ranked 6th. On the coaches poll, they're 5th. And they have Massachusetts this week, and then they're at Ohio State
Okay,
next week.
bet
So
makes
which means
sense.
the whiteout game
Yeah,
is against Michigan.
That's yep. I like it. All right, so at 8, we're gonna go with the Longhorns. I think Texas still deserves to be a top 10 team because they lost to a really, really good football team. A team that can go to the playoffs, a team that's going to potentially win the Big 12. I think the only loss on Texas's schedule right now will be this game, and I think they'll get another, another chance, and they'll get another chance to go out there and redeem themselves against Oklahoma. But right now, I think Oklahoma's the better school.
So in the coaches in the AP poll, they just flipped spots with Oklahoma.
Yes,
Oklahoma was ranked like 10 to 12.
Right.
So they basically flipped spots.
I agree. 100%. I agree. All right. Where are we at right now? Number 7. Okay. So number 7 on the AP and coaches, number 7 is Washington. On the coaches is Oklahoma. But for me, I think the 7th best team in the country right now, as of today, I'm going to say the 7th best team in the country is Washington. Go Washington. Now, don't get me wrong. This is very fluid because Washington could easily shoot up this mug and be one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the nation.
They got the game of the week
but
this week.
They got the game of the week, and they can prove it. And yeah, they can prove it, and I hope they do. The next team I got, Penn State is at 9 because they were at 6. So the next team at 6, I have. This is not going to be a popular opinion, but I just think right now they're the 6th best team in the nation. And it is what it is. I'm going to go with the Oregon Ducks. Actually, no. Let me stop lying to myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Florida State.
Why are they 6th in your opinion?
Florida State is 6th because I really do think Oregon right now is the better team.
Does Jordan Travis's health play into this at all for you?
Well, yeah, 100%. Obviously, okay. I think he'll be back. But I think Oregon right now is a top 5 team. I know this is not popular, guys, but I'm also thinking I'm thinking head-to-head matchups. I think Oregon is a top 5 team right now. Washington will 100% have something to say about that. But right now, I would put Oregon at 5. So this is where nobody's going to rock with JRob. And I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Do it.
The 4th best.
Do it. Come on. Yes.
The Georgia Bulldogs are number 4 right now. They are going to be a top 4 team until they lose. I will never move them out of the top 4. They will get the love of being. They will 100% get the love of being a top. The previous national championship winner, but I'm putting them at number 4, and I'm going to tell you why. And this is why y'all can tell me I've lost it. Top 5 team. Oregon ain't played nobody. Who is Florida State played? LA blew out LSU. Played. That Clemson game ain't nothing because Clemson ain't good. There's a lot of teams where Penn State ain't played nobody yet. Y'all want me to put Michigan is going to be a top 3 team. They ain't played nobody yet. So before y'all start using the who did they play, y'all better not tell me about no Kentucky. I think a lot of these top teams did not play nobody yet for real. So LSU, Florida State Florida State versus LSU is the best one, but LSU don't got no defense. The defense is, and it's crazy. The sad part is, a lot of these teams ain't play nobody. But the problem is Georgia hasn't looked, and this is where I think why I think this is so fluid right here at this top 4 spot. It's because has Georgia looked dominant? Somebody lie and tell me Georgia's looked like the most dominant team in the country.
You could maybe say they finally looked dominant against Kentucky. Maybe, but
why? Because they were ranked. But random because they were ranked. You know what I'm saying? Is it because they were ranked?
It sounded crazy when you said it about Kentucky being ranked for Georgia's ego, but it makes sense in my mind. It makes sense that way.
Right.
I think we had questions last week.
Know that.
Yeah, we had questions last week about that. Yeah.
And I'm looking at the rest. I'm looking at Florida State's schedule the rest of the way too. Syracuse, dub, Duke, dub, Wake Forest, dub, Pittsburgh, dub. You play North Alabama, Florida, Miami on the rest of the way. their strength of schedule may be 5, but I ain't looking at the rest of the way, and I'm not worried. There's no way you should be. If you're a Florida State Seminoles fan, the only game on your schedule that you should be like, I'm nervous, Miami, because it's a rivalry, and I'd probably say Duke.
Yeah, you got to give Duke some consideration.
Okay, let me think. Okay, number three. All right, so number 3 in the nation. I'm gonna go. I hate to say this because this is my squad, but I'm gonna go my Ohio State Buckeyes. Because I'm gonna tell you something that to me, Ohio State, we've always known that they've been known for high power offense, receivers, and everything. Kyle McCord to me has not really been spectacular. He played the best game of his played his best game this last weekend. But you know what? Ohio State is damn sure playing some defense this year. Got some decent DBs. I really think this is one of the better Ohio State teams in terms of skill position and players. But I'm gonna throw them a bone. How you lose 51-13 and still be ranked 24? I agree, Kentucky. And this guy has the shot to throw at Colorado, but you lost to a team that was considered by the 8th team in the country. So you lost to a top 10 opponent. I mean, the difference between the top 10 and the 20 to 25 school, there's a drastic difference, fellas. I'm not lying to you. There's a drastic difference, chat. It's a drastic difference. All right. So number two, the Oklahoma Sooners. Oh man, the Oklahoma Sooners. I'm
gonna need you to go ahead and explain that.
Oklahoma is the number 2 team in the nation right now. Dylan Gabriel is right now a Heisman candidate. But I'm gonna tell you why I got Oklahoma at number 2. I know that's not popular either. I know it's not popular, chat. I know these things are not, but you got to understand. These polls to me this year have been a little disingenuous. Just a little disingenuous. All of Oklahoma's games, they've dominated. No team, the only teams to go over 20 points against them so far, Iowa State got 20 points, they scored 50, and Texas got 30. So my point with the Oklahoma Sooners is I think they're going to dominate the rest of the way. They got UCF, Kansas, Oklahoma State, West Virginia, BYU, and TCU. I think they're going to dominate their games the rest of the way. And for me, well, blessings, LA Bastard. You don't have to like my rankings. This is my opinion. You just got to watch, and you just next week be like.
Well, I think a lot of people out there understand Oklahoma's spot will be decided at the end of the year if everything shakes out the way it should in the conference championship game. That will decide who makes the playoff if everything works out.
And the thing is, I know everything can shake up because if Oklahoma loses to Texas, there'll be one loss. It'll be and see, this is my thing. See, Trent Taylor, this is what I don't personally agree with. Georgia should be numb until somebody knocks him off. So for me, the reason why I don't feel that way personally is because it's a new year, it's a new team, and half that team is in the NFL. And so because of that, I really don't look at them and say, I don't really look at them and see they're the number 1 team in the country. They're a top 4 team. I'm giving them credit because they won the national championship. But I think most of these teams have been dominant. Penn State has dominated every game. Why are they at 9? I agree, Dave. I 100% agree with you. They have dominated every game. The reason why I have not put them at a higher spot right now, for me personally, is because I don't want to drink the Kool-Aid with Penn State. Just because I want to see them play in Oklahoma or Michigan, just to see where they fare. I don't see a top 5 team yet, but I do see a really good football team in Penn State. And ultimately, if I look at the top of this list, all these teams ahead of Penn State could all beat them. All these teams in Penn State could beat them, I think, personally. I even think Alabama could beat Penn State.
I would agree with that as well.
I'm not trying to sit here and say, like, listen, y'all got to understand, I'm splitting hairs with these teams, chat. This is like, I'm arguing nuance right now. You know what I'm saying? But I think Oklahoma has the nod at quarterback over Georgia. I think they have the better offense. And Oklahoma's defense, shout out to Brent Venables. They're playing defense in Oklahoma.
I know
They're
me
playing
personally.
defense in Oklahoma, man.
I gave Venables a lot of slack last year. Not a lot,
Yeah.
a lot of heat last year because of how Michigan came out. But he's clearly done something there that legitimately at points in that game, especially when Texas was coming back, Oregon had stops, and then they took.
Oklahoma, you mean?
No, I mean my bad. Oklahoma
Yeah.
Oklahoma got stops, and then they started getting the football as well. Like that was a great in a way for him to shut up a lot of haters.
Ain't earned nothing. What did OU didn't? How did OU?
Come on, King Zay.
Come on,
you saw what
OU
OU
biased,
did,
bro. Like y'all gotta understand. I love Georgia. To my people who think Georgia should be hot, bro, I'm not jacking a win against Kansas, bro. I can't, y'all. I can't. I mean, against Kentucky, I can't do it. And I think Oklahoma and Gabriel has been good. If you didn't watch Dylan Gabriel against Texas, you're lying to yourself. You don't think he's good, man. Oklahoma's gonna be undefeated. He might find himself in New York at the end of the year because if the Oklahoma goes undefeated, he'll be up for that trophy. And I know what trophy I'm talking about. And with the final team at the number one spot, I hate to say this, bro. Say, I know. I'm just, I'm just acting like you here right now. I hate to say it because I'm not a fan of this team at all. I actually detest this program. But right now, I think the Michigan Wolverines are the number one team in the country.
It takes a big man to admit that, JRob.
Listen, bro. I keep telling you, I am the most objective person ever, bro. I'm objective, bro. Like, I don't have a personal bias. Like, I hate Michigan. But I will be lying if they look like the most dominant team in football.
Yeah,
let
me lay down some context for the people.
Like they do.
Michigan has only allowed the most points they've allowed in a game is 10 points.
Bruh.
If Georgia had this exact same resume that Michigan did, you wouldn't be questioning it at all. That they're
and I know Michigan doesn't have a signature win yet. I know that.
Ironically, in the coaches poll, they didn't get any first place votes, but Ohio State got 2. Washington got 1 at 6, and then the rest went to Georgia. But they got 11 on the AP poll for first place votes.
I think Michigan's been the most dominant team in football this year. Defensively, offensively.
They've been
Oregon's going 15-0. Bro, blesses the bastard. I'm with you, bro. I got Oregon at 5, bro. I'm not saying they can't go undefeated. I've been on record to say they're in the toughest conference this year. I think Oregon is great, but I think they got to beat Washington because I still think they got to show me that they are a dominant team. And I'm going to tell you something about them Oregon Ducks. Y'all always flop at some point during the year. Y'all been doing it for years. Y'all flop every year. The Oregon Ducks flop every year. Penn State, y'all flop every year. So I'm gonna give Michigan the number one spot. And so USC 16 leaving the stream. Bye, Zach. We don't want you here anyway. No, I'm just kidding, bro. I'm not that type of mean. It's all right. We already finished the poll, so we getting out of here anyway. Go ahead, bro.
So obviously, big game of the week: Washington, Oregon. This is the game. This low-key might decide if both who from the Pac-12 makes the playoff is the winner from this game for real. That's hard.
Yeah. 100%.
I personally think that Washington is the better team. They have the better quarterback also.
Yeah, they do
but
have the better
I'm not mad at you putting Oregon up there. I think their resume is a little bit better, but I also believe that Washington is criminally underrated. A top 10 team. They don't get nearly they should as a top 10 team. And Penix has done nothing but dominate. Like you heard Grant said, he's his number one for the Heisman. I'm inclined to agree with him right now. And it's all going to shake out. The Pac-12 is going to be a bloodbath.
Who do you have to win the game, though? Are you taking Washington to win?
I'm taking Washington to win the game.
I think I'm going to take Washington to win. Actually, I think I'm going to take Washington to win the game, too. I think this will be Michael Penix's Heisman moment.
And they're at home. They're playing Washington at home.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Michael Penix's Heisman moment. And honestly, if they beat Oregon and dominate them, I don't see how you don't have them in the top 4, to be honest. Christ. But for to Tank Jones, JRob, can we get he asked about my fantasy team, the By Any Means fantasy team. So far I can share my tab. I am 2-3 on the year right now. I'm playing y'all favorite. I'm playing
Oh,
y'all
it's
favorite
1-4.
nasty man.
Get the hell out of here,
Hey,
bro.
look, chat. I'm playing y'all favorite. Obviously, I know I'm 2-3, but I just want y'all to know if Lamar Jackson receivers had hands instead of claws, I'd be 3-2 right now. But guess what? Guess who's 1-4 though? Y'all man's is
The
1-4
Herbert
though.
Glazer himself. The
Your
Herbert
man's
Glazer
is
himself.
1-4 though. Your man's is 1-4 with Justin Herbert, Derek Carr. Look, he picked all his guys and they not doing nothing for him.
That's crazy.
J.K. Dom is
Why
not
is
even
he in
playing.
your starting lineup, Mookie? He's not even playing. He's hurt.
But I don't even know, man. He don't even know what his players is doing, y'all.
Oh
So
no,
bro, 1-4, bro. 1-4, bro. Somebody get y'all mans, bro. Somebody get y'all mans. But hey, we at the 50-minute mark. Go ahead, Random. We got 10 more
so
minutes.
just looking at your thing to kind of take away from my things from your list. I understand.
Which one? What will be your biggest? What will be your biggest switch? If you would move somebody,
I would switch Colorado with Missouri. That's me.
Okay. I'm actually not mad at that. I'll put that in right now. Missouri.
I'll switch Colorado by the end of the year. I believe will be ranked.
Missouri
will be ranked by the end of the year. Missouri tough loss to LSU where was it LSU's quarterback legitimately put the team on his back while being injured and found a way to win. But this is on JRob. Oh yeah. But I still think Missouri should be ranked there.
Any other swaps that you think? Do you think I have Washington do you think Washington should be 5 instead of Oregon?
That's me. I believe Washington's a better team. I also understand why you put USC that low. I understand why you did, but
I'm not budging on that one. I ain't budging on that one.
I understand why. Can you pull up your list though for a second?
Yeah, I'm actually switching Oregon and Washington. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you for that. I mean, I like Washington. I do like their receiving core, and I do like them D ends they got. They got some good D ends. I think they'll be playing on Sunday. Some guys that'll be playing on Sunday. Let me present.
I know, and is that the game they're probably we're gonna react to on Saturday? You think?
I think so. That's the game. I think that'll be Saturday's game.
Mm-hmm.
So actually depends because I think it might be too late I think it's a night game. If it's a night game, it's at 12:30. Oh, it's at 12:30. Yeah,
it's at 12:30. 12:30. Yeah,
it'll be.
So 12:30 my time. So like 3:30 your time, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm looking. I understand why you have USC at 16. That defense is abominable, and Lincoln Riley. You will not win a national championship until you take that side of the ball seriously.
You need to
won't.
Yeah,
but I legitimately think USC. Maybe I probably would have dropped them to like maybe 13 or 12. But I'm not going to get mad at you. But I do think if push comes to shove, USC could maybe beat from going from Alabama to UCLA, maybe 2 of those teams. So that's why I'm sitting there like I'll let that go. I'll let it go.
Yeah.
But
no, I definitely most people probably move USC a little higher, but bro, that defense, bro. If honestly, if USC don't have Caleb Williams out there playing quarterback, bro, they probably got 2 or 3
ranked.
losses.
They're not ranked because they lose a few more games. They're not ranked.
Yeah, like y'all gotta understand that one of the reasons why USC gets ranked so high is because Caleb Williams is good for business.
It's
he's good for business, bro.
Yes, he is. It's really bad. I know. I remember I mentioned that last week. They're like 98. I'm checking right now to see where they're at. They're not in the top 100 anymore.
Yeah, like
you're not winning. I understand that college football and y'all swap points and it's all that, but I asked this. I can't remember where I asked this to. I'm like, name me a team that's won a championship in college football ever with a terrible defense. Name me one.
I can't name one. I really can't. Like you have to have some resemblance of a top 25 defense.
You could argue USC should have lost that game to Arizona.
Yeah, they could have, bro. If the first quarter doesn't start slow for Colorado, they win.
Even with the slow start, JRob.
If Travis Hunter plays, if Shiloh Sanders plays, what happens? What happens?
The fact that we can ask those questions about a top at the time was not even a top 5 team. Top 5 team, JRob?
The AP got them. The AP got them 10th in the nation right now.
They just keep dropping, and they understand it. They just keep dropping.
Yeah,
they just keep dropping. Like Alabama, I think could legitimately beat USC because their defense is so good.
Yeah.
And Milroe does not need to win the game
Right.
against USC, but he just needs that defense is so bad he doesn't need to do
Right.
that much to beat
Right.
them.
I agree. How disappointed are you in LSU this year, JRob? You predicted them for the playoffs. I mean, hey, Georgia lose a game or two, they win the SEC. Shit, they
The
might
path
get a
is there
first.
for Alabama. The path is there.
The
They
path
played
is there.
Georgia in
The
the
path
championship.
is there for LSU too, man. I ain't going
Mm.
front. You feel me? Let me look at Georgia's schedule the rest of the way. Listen, LSU can still be the first. They could be the first 2-loss team because let me look at Georgia's schedule real quick. Stop
If
sharing.
Washington wins out while you're looking, if Washington
They
wins out
lose
during
to
the
Ole
playoffs,
Miss. Maybe they lose to Ole Miss or Tennessee, which I doubt. I doubt it. They play at Missouri. It could happen. And LSU, they beat Alabama. You mess around, you
So
never
real
know.
quick, just to ask you, so your top 4, so the SEC
But
winner.
I'm not going down the hill. I might have been wrong about LSU 100%.
Mhm.
I want to make sure I say that because they got no defense. Go ahead, man.
So for the college football, the SEC winner makes it, the Big Ten winner makes it, the Pac-12 winner
Got
makes
to.
it.
Yeah, all three of those winners got to get in. All three winners.
So do you believe the SEC winner makes it over whoever wins the Big 12? Or do you think the Big 12 winner makes it?
I think all 4 teams this year will be conference winners.
Mm.
I don't think no non-conference winner is going to get into the playoffs this year because I look at there's going to be a lot of situations. There's going to be a lot of situations where there's going to be one of them 4 teams or 2 of them 4 teams is going to be 1-loss teams, bro. So like, even though Texas is 1 loss, they go out there and beat Oklahoma for the Big 12 championship. You got to win you got to win against Alabama, and then you beat Oklahoma for the title. How do you keep them out? Washington or Oregon win the championship, maybe 1 loss either side. How do you keep them
I
out?
still think a one loss Pac-12 winner makes it. Even
You
a
have
one loss.
to. You have to. Whoever wins the Pac has to get in. Whoever wins the SEC will always get in. Whoever wins the Big 12 will get in. The odd man out is the ACC because Florida State has to go undefeated. Florida State, whoever's this ACC team, that the closeness between that 4 and 5 spot this year, I really don't want the committee's job with this because it's going to be this close.
So
and if one of these teams ends up undefeated, I don't see how you let one in over another.
Okay, so a 1-loss Texas wins the Big 12.
Gotta have them in.
Louisville goes undefeated.
You gotta put Louisville.
Beats Florida State. So
you gotta put
Texas is
Louisville
out.
in.
So
They're
Texas
out.
is out.
How Louisville's undefeated with wins against Florida State, Notre Dame, Miami.
But let's just say Texas 1 loss, but they avenge it and they dominate Oklahoma in the conference game.
Well, like I said, that's why I don't want to be the committee. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I wouldn't want to be the committee because you would have to flip a coin, bro. Random, Texas probably get the nod because it's better for the branding. I mean, what's the bigger brand?
I mean, you're right. That would be crazy because
if I'm Louisville and I'm out, you're a businessman.
If I'm Louisville and I'm out, I'm hot. I'm cussing somebody out.
I'm hot because
I'm cussing somebody out.
Because 1 loss Florida State would have got in.
Oh my God.
No, I mean, I don't feel like I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna have to see how the rest of the season shakes up because some guys are gonna have to lose so we can figure out what is gonna shake out to be because it's gonna be a real close finish. And I think that 4 or 5 spot, oh man, I do not feel good. I do not want the committee's job with this because it's gonna be close. That's why I'm so excited that they're going to 12 teams. But with our final minute, first I want to say random, thank you for kicking it with me up here. Chat, I appreciate y'all for kicking with me and rocking with my nasty ass list. But that's how I feel about the cover.
It's not bad. It's not a bad list. USC
I don't think
is going
so
to stick
either.
out. USC is going to stick out.
Yeah, that's the one that sticks out for sure.
But when you go back and look at it, that defense is going to cost them. It just is.
It is.
And
if they lose again, I'll be pulling that list back up like, see, I told you.
If they lose, they tumble. They tumble down that list. Yeah. So I guess the one thing I will say, I hope the Pac-12 does not, like Jersey Love said it, hope the Pac-12 does not cannibalize itself.
I think no matter what,
a 2-loss Pac-12 winner doesn't make it.
No, but a 1 loss has to. No matter what, 1 loss Pac-12 winner has to get in. But with that being said, chat, we appreciate y'all for rocking with us. And we'll see y'all next Tuesday for another episode of By Any Means. Let's get it.
I want to crash that Cowboys